right.
I don't know.
So,
Hi.
welcome, everyone. If you're listening out there this afternoon and you are a mom in midlife, feel like you're going a little bit crazy, summertime and all, can't sleep, can't get any work done because your kids are home, haven't felt like yourself for a while. Well, we understand. We're going through it too. And we want to say this clearly. You aren't doing anything wrong and you are not alone. And this is um, going to be about a half an hour today where we share with you who we are, why we're doing what we do, and a little bit about this Saturday's live Zoom call on motherhood. So I'll start out. I'm going to be asking Erica a few questions. My name is Dr. Amy Marr. I'm a physician, co founder of Women's Well, supporting moms in midlife, moms in perimenopause and menopause who are actively mothering. We're calling this a big word, the convergence. And we are using medicine and all that medicine has forgotten to support you moms. And we'll break that down today, share a little more as we go. So, before we go any further, I will ask Erica to introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Amy. I am Erica Kafka. I am a physician assistant. I'm the other half of Women's Well. I am. I don't know. What else do you want me to tell? I mean, I have lots of other things that I do. I'm a certified yoga therapist, a shamanic practitioner, a registered yoga therapist. I've been yoga teacher. I've been doing that for over 25 years. I have a lot of different trainings and different lineages. And I love to bring a really integrative, holistic look to all things that I'm doing, honestly, not just medicine, but I really, what Dr. Amy said was that the everything medicine forgot really rings true for me, really holds true. And it's why this particular why Women's Well is so important to me, because I am also a mom with a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old and a 26-year-old. And I am in the thick of actively mothering as well as perimenopause. And I went from postpartum straight into perimenopause, and I had no idea what was happening, and it blew my mind. And so I'm hopeful that through the work that Dr. Amy and I can do, we are here to help support all of you mamas that are in the same place.
Well, since we started with our own, since you started with your own lived experience of active mothering through perimenopause, why don't we start there?
Yeah. Do you want me to give me some more background, or are you going to ask me specifics?
I'll ask you some questions and we'll see where the conversation goes. How about that?
That sounds great.
So I was wondering if you could share more about what this convergent looks like in your house, just on a typical day.
Yeah. So like I said, I have a 4-year-old little girl. She'll be 5 in August. She'll be starting kindergarten. I have a 3-year-old. I also have my husband in the house. My 26-year-old does not live with me. He just got married. But my day-to-day is really full, because I'm also concurrently in a full-time clinical practice where I am seeing patients in the mental health field. And so my days start really early. I try to get up a couple hours before my littles get up so that I can have some time to myself. And then I am off to school with them, off to work with my, and then back home with them. And it's just a really full day. It feels, it's a lot to handle in a day, to be able to manage my mind, my heart, my spirit, and my physical body all at once. Well, I also have to help the two littles do the same thing for themselves. And then you throw in seeing patients all day long, where you're witnessing and helping them do that too. It can just be, it's a lot to be able to do.
I hear you. I have a teenage son going into high school, and I'm at the end of perimenopause, still in it, as I've shared along the way here, but I hear you. It's a lot to do um, while our hormones are fluctuating and we're having all of those experiences. Is there such as hot flashes or not sleeping well or
Yeah.
anxiety that we all, it's so common.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there something, Erica, that is happening in your body around this convergence
Mm.
that nobody warned you about,
Yeah, I
particularly
think
right now, maybe this week that's
several things.
mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing for me that's a recurring theme is anxiety. I have had anxiety on and off throughout my life, but this anxiety hits in a much different way. Um, I think that it is a really physical response. My body is really physically responding to anxiety, and oftentimes it is unprovoked, and at least in my viewpoint, out of the blue, and it can be um, really debilitating in the moment because it happens in the most inappropriate times when I actually need to be present for other people or present with the littles, and it's really hard to do that. It's actually being in this phase where it's hormonally driven in a way is it's unpredictable, and because it's unpredictable, it's often hard to hold space in a way, and so I have to on a regular weekly basis really attune and check in with myself so that it doesn't override me and it doesn't cause a, a cascade effect with my partner or with the littles, or even in like my relationship to work and my clients.
Yeah, yeah. What specifically might you do to check in with yourself?
So I think the couple of things the biggest thing for me, honestly, Dr. Amy, we've talked about this before, but it's the noticing, it's the witnessing, it's being an awareness that it's happening and being able to name it out loud. And when I say like name it out loud, it's not like I'm announcing to the room that I'm having anxiety. I'm naming it internally for myself. Oh, okay, this is happening right now. And when I can at least name it and identify it, then I can have a relationship with it rather than having it overtake me. Because if I don't know what's happening, that's when I spiral and kind of go down. And so witnessing it, naming it, and then there's a little fun trick that I do. It's like, okay, what do you need me to know right now? Is there any other emotion that might be associated with you that could help me understand? Is there a color? Where are you living in my body? Is there something you need me to do? So I kind of what's the word when you make something?
Anthropomorphize?
Yeah, anthropomorphize. Did I say that right?
Anthropomorphize, I think is what it is.
Yeah, that's it. This is what happens. This is another thing that happens regularly. I lose words. And then I can breathe. I can just take a big breath, take a beat. I might like walk into the bathroom, take a couple of breaths, and then come back out, and I can feel a little bit better.
Well, that makes sense. I know that even just checking in to say, hey, I'm at a 4 out of 5 right now.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I hear what you're saying. And
Is
I
there
know
anything
that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I definitely check in, and I sometimes say it out loud often to my husband. Like, I'm having a rough time. I feel anxious right now. And I did that more when I was younger and Elijah was younger, and that was more of a struggle for me, which actually later in the perimenopause journey for me, that sort of calmed down a little bit. It was much more raw and frequent when I was younger. Erica, do you have any? I know you're really pretty avid exerciser. Is that also?
Yeah. So one of the things that I do every day is I prioritize movement. So let me back up. Let me bring the lens out a little bit more. So what I have found really helps me a lot is having systems, structures, routines, rituals. And I really like to bookend my days very purposely. So I have a morning routine, and I would almost call it a ritual because it really helps me to attune to myself and my day. And then I have an evening routine, again, more like a ritual because it is an ability for me to ease into the evening and ease into my sleep, which has been chaotic to say the least. So in the morning, in that routine, that ritual, is where I prioritize my movement. I have found over the years that if I move first thing in the morning, it sets my day up in a way that allows me to have hopefully less of those symptoms that I have, like less anxiety. I'm grounded. I feel physically within my body. And so it's easier to manage.
Yeah.
I have shifted what I've done though. And I don't know if you want me to talk about that or not, but I've shifted what I do to work out. So for a long time, I was really cardio heavy for many, many years. Cardio. I switched over. I did a little bit of weightlifting here and there. And then when I got pregnant with Charlotte, I moved over to something called Orange Theory, which was really awesome. But it's really a lot of cardio and there's a little bit of weightlifting. And I did that through both pregnancies. But after I had my little guy, Rickson, I recognized that just wasn't working for me anymore. And it's actually much more stressful for me to do that workout. So I shifted. And as we did, we dug into the research. I really found that progressive weightlifting was probably the thing I needed to try. And so for the last 18 months, that's what I have focused on. So in the morning, I really, I have anywhere from 3 to 4 days that I lift, focused on progressively increasing the weights. And when I say that, it's not like I'm go from 5 pounds to like 225 pounds in a week. Like that's not what's happening. This is slow build over time. And then 2 other days in the week, my husband and I actually work out in the morning together and we do a HIIT, some sort of cardio, which is really nice. And then I have a couple other days that I play with where I'm walking or doing yoga. That's a big piece for me to be able to stretch, or hiking or something like that. So, but always in the morning, always first thing. It's really helpful.
Well, I think you and I have also talked about this idea of asking yourself what's sacred to you and meaning what things must you do to keep yourself well. And so it sounds like you have exercise as one of those anchors, and that's great. I also I do some walking in the woods and some Peloton and some not so heavy lifting. Now I've shared my 30-day exercise challenge that got me back into it. But for me as well, that movement and just increasing movement is really one sacred anchor for me, for sure.
Yeah.
So I hear you on that. Well, thanks for sharing that, Erica. I was just thinking that, I think it's great to be hearing about your experience because you are a mom. You're about 7 years younger than I am.
Yep.
And you are in such a different place with little ones and that rhythm and a different place, even in the perimenopause journey, than I am almost at the end of it. And so it's really nice. I'm sure there's a lot of moms out there going through the same thing. So it's so great to hear your lived experience. Thanks for sharing it today. I didn't tell her I'm interviewing her.
I know. It's okay. I just think it's important. Well, and I just want to say, I want to just note that it's important to recognize that this is a spectrum. It really is a spectrum. And I don't think that's being named right in the conversation that people are having. And I think it's important. It's one of the things you and I really attuned to is that where I am is really different than where you are. And also it might be that there are some moms your age with kids my age. So even that looks a little bit different. It is a little bit, it is a little different. I think it's important to acknowledge that and make sure we recognize that and then learn from each other, because it's really helpful to learn from each other in those different phases.
I totally agree. And I guess I will just take a moment to break it down in that what we have found in our lived experience and from studying this and hearing from other women is that we seem to see this sort of immediately after birth, kind of postpartum perimenopause, where postpartum is just more severe and lasting much longer. Yes. So after, 6 months and you're still feeling postpartum. For me, it was over 3 years and I had my child when I was 40. And then we go into this sort of grade school kids and in the thick of perimenopause where it's very irregular. Some months your periods are so strong. It's like you gave birth to a little alien is what I like to say. And want so much. Mood swings, difficult sleeping, hard to, keep up the grind. So I like to say that is sort of the middle place. And then where I am is sort of, you know, uh, maybe you're in your mid to late 50s and you have a teenager or younger, and you're kind of at the end of perimenopause, almost to menopause. And my experience as estrogen really declines more is it's a different phase. It's a phase with the more symptoms of low estrogen where your body's changing. You might have more belly fat. You might have hot flashes more severely. So I like to see it in that spectrum. So I just thought I would share.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you.
yeah, and so today we're learning a little bit more about Erica. Thanks, Erica. And my final question around this time for you, active mothering while going through midlife and perimenopause. What could you name one thing that's actually improved, that's gotten better or feels better for you? I'm sure there's more than one, but there's
Yeah, and I appreciate the question because I think so much of the conversation is focused on the negative right now. And it's not a negative phase. Is it a lot? Yeah. Is there many moving pieces? Yes. But I think one of the things for me that has gotten better is my intuition. I'm deepening my relationship with my intuition, and simultaneously I'm have much less fear around speaking my truth. And maybe that translates to even setting a boundary, but that's it's almost a little too restrictive when I say that, but just really being able to listen internally, to be aware, to use my intuition as a tool to drive decisions that I'm making or choices that I'm making, and to then be able to vocalize myself without fear and feeling more grounded. I think that is like the coolest part about this transition, genuinely. And when I bring that lens out a little bit more, what I think is going to be the coolest part, I think my oldest son, he was 26. I was in my 20s and 30s raising him. I did a lot of work at that stage. And I worked really hard to have a good relationship with him, but I wasn't as solid in myself. And what I'm excited about is that the ability to have the deeper intuition and to have this certainty about who I am, how that translates into how I mother, and how that is going to be a gift for my children to have witness a mom in her truth, in her power. Truly.
Yeah, that is remarkable. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about how it's really softened me as well, and I'm much gentler with myself. I'm much more forgiving of myself, and feel more comfortable in my skin. And it was hard earned because it's been a journey, but yeah, that has been such a gift of this time. You're right. It is not negative. It is a positive. It's an opportunity. And anything else you wanted to say about how the convergence is going for you in your life before we move on to talking about a little bit of what Saturday will bring?
I think that I want to name for us is that it's such a really, it's an unexpected dual initiation. I don't think I just didn't, it's not, there's more language around it now. There's conversations are opening up about it, but I think you and I have talked about this, is that once you finally hear somebody name it for you, it's kind of opens up and unravels this whole new space and place that you can get to. And that is what it's done for us over the last several years, as we've really spent time identifying and relating to and teaching. And so I just want to say to those watching, if this is new and this is, you haven't heard this before, but it is, you feel it in your body, you feel it in your mind, you feel it in your heart. Just know that we're so excited. We're just really excited for you to be able to start to hear it from this lens and from this frame.
Yeah, I know. It was almost, it's so it was for me, who had such a severe postpartum, having
Mhm.
my first child at 40, it was so confusing. And
Mhm.
then to share the experience and understand, oh, it's because perimenopause was already happening. It was just such a like, oh, that's what happened. I wasn't just bad at it, it
Yeah.
wasn't like a fault of mine or a lacking. It was like, oh, that's what was going on from physiologically, but also from, my my identity and all
Yeah.
that the culture brings. Um, which makes me want to just say one point, and and just also bring up that it's so medicalized, not
Ugh,
only motherhood
so
but also perimenopause. And um, that's another thing that we're excited about is, of course, we honor medicine, but bringing and supporting
yeah.
you with all that medicine has forgotten, because it's not a medical problem. It's a beautiful rite of passage, and what probably the most important for moms. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to underline that and share that, I do have a clinic offering integrated and intuitive care for moms in perimenopause and menopause, and that's in California, Washington, and Oregon. Uh, Telehealth, and you can find a way to book with me on our website at womenswell.co. So, Erica, I think we can go and just spend a few minutes letting people know what to expect on Saturday.
Yeah. You want to give them the down low?
Sure. Well, I will give a little down low as I ask some
Oh,
more questions of you
okay.
about
Yes.
it.
Love it.
In this kind of, I'm having fun. I
I
don't know
know.
if
It's
you're
so
in the
fun.
hot seat, but I'm having a good time. I'll let you do it next time to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so anyway, we have a live Zoom call once a month, and um, it's our Sisterhood Circle.
Mhm.
You can find this on Substack. If you're already a member, Otherwise, if you're watching today without it, it's a free subscription for the summertime, and every second Saturday at 9 a.m. So our next one
Pacific
is
time. Pacific.
Pacific time. Thanks, Erica.
Yeah.
Our next one is this Saturday. So that's 9 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m.
Mountain.
Mountain, and noon Eastern.
Mhm.
And I apologize if you are in the time
11 Central.
what is it called?
11 Central.
Central. Yeah, 11 Central. So, and I am headed to Alaska today. That's where I grew up to see my sister.
Is that
It's,
Pacific still?
it's actually 8 a.m. Alaska time.
Oh, it's
If
gonna
they
be
don't do daylight savings up
uh,
there, too far north to make
way too
sense.
much sun during the day this time
Yeah,
of
and dark during the winter, so they don't do that
year. Mhm.
business. Anyway, so we'll see you there this Saturday. My son is about
It's
to come
walking
in
in. We love
because,
this that
hey,
Elijah's
Elijah,
joining.
who won the game, Elijah?
It was Switzerland on 4-3 on pens.
Switzerland.
Oh.
Okay, buddy, can you help out? Because mom's on a live call.
I
Live
want to check
call.
the goal count.
Live call. Go.
Can I please check the goal count?
We love Elijah. That's her teenager. He's the best.
So, whose child comes in, not the littles. Maybe they're not
Well,
around.
because I'm at work. Luckily, none of my coworkers have moved in.
I knew. This part and parcel.
Listen, this is real life. Like, we are living it with everybody. That's how it is.
All right. So this week, I will first say that the last month in June, we talked all about brain and hormones for
Yep.
motherhood and perimenopause, and you can find that on a recording on one of our posts that's pinned at the top of our page if you're interested, from June. And then this coming week, this Saturday for July, we are talking about matrescence. Now, yeah, matrescence. When I type matrescence in my anywhere on my computer, it tells me that I've spelled something wrong. It doesn't know what the word is, which makes me laugh every time because matrescence is the transition, the stage of motherhood and all that happens. And it's such an understudied phenomenon that the word is not even in the dictionary, I don't think yet. But it is very important. And as we all know, it changes us completely. And we are never the same after we become moms. So I'm going to ask Erica a few questions and we'll dive into a little bit of what you'll hear on Saturday. So, Erica,
Yes.
matrescence sometimes can feel like you're losing your mind.
Every day.
Have you had a time in the last couple of days where you felt like you were losing your mind?
Yes, I have
Share
actually.
that with us.
It was really recent. So let just a little bit of background. Dr. Amy and I are we're just straight Gen X. That's where we come from. Shout out to that generation and the millennials, elder millennials. But like we didn't grow up with phones in our hands. We didn't grow up with social media. We didn't do that. And so as we have stepped into our calling and stepped into our big self, one of the things that we're learning is about social media. And we didn't realize that we also have to become content creators, and that's a whole nother job. And so over the weekend, I was doing, it was the holiday weekend. So it's 4th of July. It's insane. We have an extra day off. My kids are crazy because they're ready for fireworks. We have people in my house. I've got more extra people in my house. I've got my kids here. I have loud fireworks happening. And at the same time, I'm trying to learn some of this stuff that I'm trying to figure out for content creation and how to post and do things, and all of it happening all at once over the course of 3 to 5 hours. I really felt like I was going to lose my mind. I really did. I was like, I don't even know which way to turn. I'm like checking my phone, doing this, talking to people, answering my little kids, getting the dinner, trying to figure out, I got to keep them up long enough because they want to see fireworks, but I want them to go to bed because we're going to dysregulate them. So yeah, it was.
Yeah, right. And I probably was also texting you like 18 times a second.
Yeah.
Just a few texts from me.
Yes.
So why? I think we could probably underline that might have made you feel like, as a mom, that maybe you might have been doing something wrong.
I did. I felt,
instead of realizing that there was, and some internal things happening.
Yeah, it was. One of the bigger things that I think I've since identified is that I wasn't feeling complete in anything that I was doing. I was feeling less than in all the things that I was doing. So it felt a lot harder to balance it, and like that I wasn't winning anywhere, and that it just felt falling apart. When actually, if someone just watched what I was doing, they would have said to me, what a badass you are. I can't believe that you're multi-managing all of this at the same time. But yet when you're in it, I think you were talking about this the other day, sometimes when you're in the water, you don't even know you're in the water and you can't see it. And really, like I did a pretty great job managing all of that at once. It just in the moment didn't feel like it. And all I was thinking about is like, okay, when are the fireworks going to be done so we can go to bed? Right? Like rather than being in the moment and appreciating it. So trying to learn how to do that.
I mean, and even just talking about like nervous system overload.
Oh, yes.
4th of July is a nightmare for that. for our perimenopausal, menopausal nervous
Such a nightmare.
It's too much. Well, I think that that's a really good example, and how many mamas don't realize that they're actually being set up for failure, and not just because of what's going on physiologically in the body, but also because of what's happening with cultural norms around mothering right now, and with what's going on with our brain and our hormones and how it changes, and then how our identity changes and our beliefs around motherhood and our psychology. And so that's what we're going to be talking about on Saturday, taking a deep dive into that. And I think it's really true. What water are we swimming in? Because we don't know. We might feel like, why do I feel like I'm drowning? And I can't hack it. Maybe there's something wrong with me. And so we'll break that down on Saturday. I wanted to to just really thank Lucy Jones, who wrote a book called Matrescence, which is just a remarkable
Yeah.
contribution to motherhood, and recommend to anyone to read that book. It will change your life because it will give you information and knowledge about what's going on. And so you can feel like, oh, I'm not alone in this. And I always feel like that's such a remedy for a lot of the stress we feel going through our day to day, trying to do this the right way. And she has a term that she says that it's motherhood. You recombobulate, so not decombobulate, but recombobulate, not discombobulate, but recombobulate, and it means to regain your composure, to think clearly again, or to put something back into working order after a state of confusion.
Mm.
I like to think of it like the chrysalis, the butterfly, where the that worm actually turns absolutely to mush and then comes out an amazing butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
And really, that this is also what's happening for all of us.
It absolutely is. Pick up the hungry little caterpillar. That's all of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll just also send a metaphor from share a metaphor from Lucy Jones, who coined that term recombobulation, and ties it to this beautiful image of the mother tree, just such an archetype, the mother tree, and how older trees share their resources with the younger ones through an underground mycelium or fungus. And if another tree needs food, the mother will give it. And this also is such a beautiful metaphor of what women do once they go into the stage of matrescence. And we'll talk a lot about how that feels and how we can support each other in that. Such a beautiful image. So, Erica, if a woman is in the thick of actively mothering while in midlife, going through perimenopause, what is one thing that you might share with her today and this call, words of support?
You are a total badass. You really are a rock star, even though you might feel like you're being pushed and pulled in a million different directions. You want to be outward facing for your kids, but sometimes you want to be inward facing and you feel that conflict happening. To be able to do what we're doing at the age we're doing in the cultural landscape of which we're in is nothing short of extraordinary. To bring your full selves forward, to be witness to that initiation of matrescence and motherhood, to be present for your children, and then to also be moving into this phase, this latter phase of life, sort of towards that elderhood in the same vein, as that is not for the faint of heart. So if you're doing it, huge, tremendous respect, shout out. And I really believe the world will be a better place because of that, because of the children that are being influenced by these extraordinary women, truly.
I completely agree. And that makes me think of this concept of staying in our sacred hoop or our truth, our authenticity. And I love this. For me, that this fact that once you're a mom, the sacred hoop also contains your children, and that the transition in motherhood and perimenopause, making you more yourself, more whole than ever, allows you to widen your hoop so that your children can flourish in that sacred hoop as well. And just the strength of that, what a badass, what badasses we are, that's the truth, that it grows and becomes more full as we become mothers. And we'll certainly talk more about this idea of sacred hoop as we go along. And we just, again, grateful to those folks like Lucy Jones that are talking and studying motherhood. And we want to give a shout out to something called Matro Reform.
Hmm?
And that is raising awareness and supporting moms.
Yes.
We love it. We want to be a part of that because no one recombobulates alone.
No.
We
Nor
recombobulate.
should you have to. You shouldn't have to.
So we are making sure that we do this together. And that's another reason that we're bringing Women's Well to the world, to you all. So, Erica, anything else you want to say before we wrap it up? We're at about 35
I think that was
minutes.
awesome.
And I think we're so happy to be able to share with you all today. You can find us in a few ways. We have a website, womenswell.co. We have a Substack, Sisterhood Circle Women's Well.substack.com. You're on it today. You know we're there. We have an Instagram at Official Women's Well. And we are taking the Yap Challenge with Jessie Jean, and it is just breaking us wide open. We're finding our voice. We're connecting with others, and we're having, getting courage in ourselves to bring this more and more to you all to support you. So we're so grateful for Jessie Jean. I just wanted to say a shout out today for that. And I just, my heart's so open, and I am feeling connected with all the moms out there from heart to heart to heart, like our teacher Jan says. So ending on that note, thanks for letting us be here today. Erica, anything you want to say to close?
Just blessings on you.
Blessings.
Thank
All right.
you. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Erica.